it's Robin. Welcome to Axel's Garage. We're out here with the Maverick, and we're losing the light, as you can see, but we're also losing the warm weather. And we had a warm day today. It's supposed to get cold and rainy tomorrow. So I just want to try to bang this one thing out that's been bothering us since we got it, which was the bed cover was installed at the factory incorrectly. Why? Because in Mexico, they don't give a shit. And they just throw shit together. They used the wrong bulkhead seal. They used a thin bulkhead seal, and it's supposed to be the thick bulkhead seal because there is no drop-in bed liner in this. When you have a drop-in bed liner, or I think even maybe a spray-in bed liner, you're supposed to use the thin seal, the thick seal otherwise. So we do get wet water in the bulkhead over here. And a lot of the reason has to do with there is no gap between the bed and the cab. So water does sit in here. So we have a real thin seal, and it doesn't seal good here in the bulkhead. So what did I do? Well, because we ordered this with this bed cover on, and this is a Back Industries bed cover, and I'll link the actual cover. It's like the 2 series, and now there's a 3 series, whatever it might be, but this is one of their bed covers. I contacted them and I said, hey, I bought a vehicle, blah, blah, blah. I told them what the deal was. I said, can you send me the weather strip and I'll just fix it? And they said, no. Well, first they said, take a picture of the label on the sticker on the bed cover, and I did. I took a picture, and it had the serial number and all the details. I sent it to them, and it took them a week or 2 to get back to me, and they says, no, we're not going to fix it. If you want to fix it, you got to take it back to the dealer, and the warranty request for a replacement part has to come from the dealer. And I know what's going to happen. I'm going to go to the dealer, and I'm going to explain it to them, and they're going to cobble it together. Even if they get the right parts, the guy installing it is not going to give a shit, because nobody takes pride in their work, right? Baby mama's behind the camera, so if it's a little shaky, the novice here behind the camera.
Thanks.
But I ordered this stuff, so I just went on their website and I ordered this stuff, and I'm losing the light, and the phone's gonna ring, of course. So with all these interruptions, I think we're gonna wind up taking the bed cover off tonight, and then the next dry day we can reinstall. I think that'll be the best thing. We go a couple days with no bed cover here, right? Yeah, we're not loading it up. We're not going.
No, and it's going for.
Oh, it's going in for its first oil change. Monday. Okay, so we're good. So, how do we get this out? Well, it's pretty simple. You're gonna roll up the, and I'm getting eaten. You're not getting eaten alive.
Yeah, I am by my ankles right now. So if I'm shaky, it's because I have an itch because something's biting me. Because I think right now it's still about 80 degrees.
So I'm gonna roll up completely, right? And then I'm gonna go inside. Okay, so now inside the vehicle, right under here, you got 2 nylock fastener bolts on each side, and they're 1/2-inch guys. So all you're gonna do is spin the 2 off on each side. Right, and you got 2 rubber washers, you got 2 metal washers, and 2 nuts on each side. So we're gonna save that hardware because we do need it. I can roll over to this side. Okay, so now with all 4 of those nuts off, this lifts right up and off. And I can take it and put it this way. Put it down right next to me. Now, the reason why I didn't pull it all the way out yet is because I might as well stay over here, because to get the side rails off, which we want to reseal some of those side rails, and I'll show you why in a second, it's not a 1/2-inch. Of course, they can't just, have everything the same size. It's a 9/16. So we're going to disconnect the side rails as well. And that's just a couple of turns, and they fall right off. Apparently somebody was watching me and not watching what I'm doing.
Oh, no,
Where's the tool? Can you see what I'm doing with the tool? What are you filming? This is what I mean by first time filmer. Those brackets come off that easy, and now this will lift up and off. So now on this side, these rails will lift right up and off, okay, and it reveals the seal. Now you can see this bulkhead seal sort of does a squirrely thing down the rail, all right, and it's a very thin seal because it's the wrong seal. So the seal that should go on here should be about 3 times as thick. I think it's this is a 1/4 inch, and I think it's a 3/4 that goes on here when it's going down to the bed itself without any kind of drop-in bed liner. Another problem is it's not all the way to the edge where it should be. So what happens? Water's gonna get in there and all kinds of schmutz, right? And now a design flaw is here, right? You see this channel here where the 2 pieces of plastic go. The top rail goes on that. I'll show you. I'll just grab the top rail. I'll put it in place. All right, but where's the water gonna go? Yeah, right down that channel. So what we need to do is fill that channel, not the whole way, just the part that's under here to stop water from coming into this channel and running into there. And you could see up over here how mangled everything got from an install that didn't really take pride in their work, because that just shouldn't be like that. This seal should be pretty good. So we're gonna put something there to take up that space there. Well, with the side rails off and the whole top off, we were trying to get the wrong bulkhead seal off, and you can see the light is long gone and the bulkhead seal glue is tough. So we got the baby mama up there. She is using a variety of adhesive remover, bug and tar remover, and WD-40, and using a plastic razor blade and scraping little by little, trying to get that adhesive residue off so that we can apply the new bulkhead seal. How you making out, lady?
Fine.
So we will have to continue once we get this ready for the reinstall on the new seals that we ordered from Back. I guess it's Back Industries. Revolver. It's the Revolver. It's the Revolver, but it's not the current Revolver. It's the old model of the Revolver bed cover that Ford uses on these things when you buy them directly from Ford. Hey, it's Rob from the future. I just finished making the video that you're watching, and we do have the cover installed happily. However, when I mentioned that Back Industries, who makes this, and it's the Revolver X2 was the cover, I think I was looking for the name of the cover, that I did have an email chain back and forth with them. And I did. And they did get back to me, and they did say, well, it's because it's a factory installed item, installed by Ford at the factory. Even though it's our item, you need to go back because any warranty claim has got to come through a dealership or through Ford itself. Okay, that's fine. They don't want to let me do it, which I don't understand why I couldn't. You know, I'm making the warranty claim. It's my cover. It's not Ford's cover. There's no doubt that it is what it is. That wasn't the question. It was just their policy, which is silly, because why can't I just do it myself? Because it is my cover. It's not like it's a cover that belongs to Ford. It doesn't belong to Ford. It belongs to me. Anyway, Back Industries, something must have happened with Back Industries, because their website doesn't exist anymore. And I've had Back Industries covers for the last 6 years. I had them on 2 Ram leases that I had, and I was able to buy replacement parts direct from Back Industries and communicate directly with Back Industries if I had a question. Their website, I went on today, doesn't exist. And I went on it because I wanted to look at one of their schematics just to make sure I was doing something right. The website no longer exists. So you search Back Industries, and it's all the retailers that sell Back Industry stuff. So I'm wondering if one of those big retailers bought them, or one of those big automotive aftermarket companies bought them and they're part of them now, and that's why I could not find their website. So Just to give you a little background, it's a Back Industries Revolver X2, and now I can't find Back Industries online anymore. And I keep saying back, it's B-A-K. I don't know if it's back is how you say it, or you say B-A-K, I don't know. Anyway, you can keep watching the video now. Thank you. Okay, well, it's not even the next day. It is the next week, because it just got dark and then it rained for like 5 days straight. But in the dark, with some flashlights, Michelle was able to use the adhesive remover. What did she use? WD-40 adhesive remover and bug and tar remover. And let me show you, she got it pretty clean. So she got all the residual adhesive off. Just about everything except for a little spot there, which that'll be fine. Got it all off, and I just wiped it all down with alcohol. I wiped the whole bulkhead down. And I wiped the side rails down also, just because they had a little bit of residual scourge from where the weather stripping on the side rail sat. And you can see right here, we have to deal with this spot right here. And then we also have these little channels. You see how the body, the bulkhead sort of goes down and everything. So I think I'm gonna put a dab of black silicone in the corner. On this side, you can see it even better how it goes there. And it's just a natural channel for water to get in. And I know it's not gonna be completely dry, but I'm just trying to keep as much water out. I get a little in, it comes in over here and drips down. It doesn't really get the stuff in the back of the bed wet unless I put like a bag right here, and it might drip from here and here. So we're gonna use a little black silicone. I really don't want to, silicone the whole thing down and make a mess. I'm just gonna use a couple little dabs. Not really concerned about the next time we have to take it off. Is that gonna make it harder or not? We'll deal with that the next time. I just want to keep it as dry as possible. The design of the vehicle doesn't really lend for the cover to work really well at the bulkhead, because there's no split in the body, or I should say in the cab and the bed. So the water here, when it gets deluged with water, I guess you would say, like a lot of water coming down here, not just normal rain, especially like when you wash the car, there's nowhere for the water to go, and it pools. So it's trying to work its way into the bed or into those channels. So if I could just deter it a little bit, that would be great. And because there's nothing there, drain holes here would have been really a good afterthought. I don't know if there was a way they could have just put holes in to drain some of the water that pools there. I guess if you have an open bed, it doesn't matter. But if you're trying to keep your bed dry with a bed cover, that's just a spot that's, because of the design of the vehicle, is just going to be tough. So we'll see what we can do just to limit the amount of water in. So I put some dabs of silicone, drying. Not ready to show you that yet. But in the house, acclimating to some room temperature, and that's why I left it in the house. I had my, not the bulkhead seal, but this flap seal that goes on the bulkhead end of the top. And I've had that sitting in the house so that it would get to, 70 degrees, whatever the house is. And the new seal. So I'll show you what I got here. So there's the cover. Here's the new seal. The seal has got an adhesive strip that's got to go to the...
Don't touch it, I just cleaned it.
Underside. I'm touching the plastic. Underside of the cover there. Amanda did it with some rubbing alcohol and a paper towel, so that hopefully this adhesive will fit. And now we were trying to figure out whether we should put it this way or this way. And I think the problem with the old one was I think it was put on a little squirrely, and that's what made it kind of like have a little wave to it. So this one, I think if we lay it on the table flat and then apply the cover to the seal, to the adhesive on the seal, it'll keep it flatter. So Amanda's gonna work on that. right, so after playing with my silicone, I let it set up for about an hour. I ran 2 beads right there. You can see it's a little above the black plastic. And I ran 2 beads over there also. All right, so now I think, I know it's not fully set up. Let me set you guys up. So I know the silicone's not fully set up, and that's why I want to come in and do the bulkhead seal. So here's the bulkhead seal. You can see it's a foam, and it's probably 4 times as thick as the rubber seal that was originally on here, because that rubber seal was meant to go on a drop-in bed liner. That's why that, you know, you got the drop-in bed liner adding thickness, and that's why the seal was so thin. This is a fatter seal to add the thickness that you don't have with the drop-in bed liner. So now what my plan is, I am going to put it long. This is like a foot longer than it needs to be. So my plan is to put it long, and I could always trim it back with a razor. And what I want to do is I want to smush down that silicone, because it's got a dried skin over the top, but it's still soft. So I want to push it down so that the bulkhead seal is in the right spot. And you want the bulkhead seal just forward of the rounded part here. So you don't want it on the curve, but you don't want it too far into here. Like, you don't want it back here or anything like that. Just want it on the edge. So just a little bit of the backing off. You can see what I did in the corner there. Just like that. Now hopefully that idea pays off. I don't know that it will. I don't know that it won't. So now this is stretchy. You don't want to pull it and put tension on it. You just want to get it straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go like in the middle, because it's not a long, maybe I'll go here. I'm going to go right here. And I'm trying to keep it as straight as possible. It looks a lot easier than it actually is to keep it straight. So now that I'm getting to this side, I'm going to pull it to just past, sort of like I did on the other side. And I want to do the same thing there. I want to mush it into the silicone a little bit. Okay, so now we're up to our side rails. I mean, this is just like installing a cover from scratch, I guess you could call it. But what we did over here, it's ugly, but you're not going to see it. We kind of filled that groove with silicone. And again, it's still a little soft. I want it a little soft. There is a film over it. So there's a film over it, so it shouldn't be too bad. So we have our rail. Now the rail on this end right here had a real thin, maybe it was a 1/16 of an inch, almost like a cork kind of rubber. It felt corkish, and it had just disintegrated. So I peeled it all off. We will address that. My little piece of blue tape that you saw was just a marker for me so that I can know what gets exposed and what doesn't, so I didn't put silicone in the spot where we're going to see it. And then also, there is a rubber pad right here that goes up against the bulkhead. Now, this rubber pad is stuck on, it is not used if you have the drop-in bed liner. That's another one of the differences, because the drop-in bed liner takes up that space. This is not just a pad, but a spacer, so that this way and this way it's in the right spot. So we're gonna pretty much lay this on top here. I'm gonna bring it right so that the rubber pad's against the bulkhead, and I'm gonna bring it down over the weather strip seal, and now I can see right here where I'm gonna have to trim back my foam seal. You can see right there where it's sticking out and stopping me from going all the way down on my rail. So I am gonna trim that back. I'm gonna leave it on the plastic just a little bit. I'm gonna trim it back and see what happens. So with a new blade on my knife, I want to keep it in the plastic just a little bit. I'm gonna give it a slice like that. I'm gonna peel that off. I'll worry about that residual at a later time. So I'm gonna bring this in again, get it all the way up to the bulkhead, and see if I can bring this down all the way. And I can. And that looks pretty good, actually. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to find the middle of my bed, and I'm gonna guess it's right here somewhere. And I'm gonna put in my first bracket. I think the spec is 6 inches from here, 6 inches from the other end. And then once you got it hand tight, they say you should smack that and it should stay down, but I don't see it staying down like they claim, so. I'm gonna press on it. Oh, my other one fell off when I pressed on it. So now with the 3 in and tight, you know, you gotta press down. I like to make them a little tighter than finger tight. Make sure that the grooves are lined up. There's little grooves in the brackets, and they fit into the grooves on the rail. Make sure that they're lined up, and then give it a little smack down. Make sure you seat it all the way down, and then give it a tighten. Manual tighten, I'm guessing torque spec, if I had to guess, 25 foot-pounds. And then it's all tight. So I did 6 inches here. I kind of went a little bit back from center on this one, and then about 6 or so inches in the back here. And the reason why I went back from center on this one is because this gets an extra clip which holds the strap for the roll-up truck. So there's an extra one here, so you can space this one back, because we're gonna put a second one right next to the first one over here, just behind it, for that strap. And it's the same kind of mounting clip, so it holds it in place also. So now looking over here, where I put the dab of silicone, you'd see you could barely notice the dab of silicone there. I could clean this up, scrape it off, whatever. I could leave it. Nobody's ever really gonna notice it once the top piece goes down. All right, so now doing the second side, here's that weird kind of weather stripping I was telling you about, and it's rubber, but it feels like cork, and it's real thin, maybe a 1/16 of an inch. So we're gonna take this off because it's just deteriorating to nothing, and I have a plan B for this. I'll show you once we get all the rails installed. All right, so for the weather stripping, I have this foam tape. It's actually double-sided, but you don't have to use it as a double-sided. You could use it as a single-sided. And it's just a touch thicker than the foam that was used initially. So, you know, there's your difference in profile if that comes up on camera. It's a little thicker, which might really be fine. So I'm going to take it and I'm just going to put it on the outside, just like that. The hole needs to be open for the screws to go through. So I'm just going to tuck it like that. Square there. Square there, and that'll be fine for whatever else it is. This is all right. So grab this, try to lay it sort of where it's supposed to be. I'm going to grab the 4 bolts. There's 2 on each side. They slide into a groove in one of these rails. It looked like Amanda did a pretty good job. The weather stripping, almost perfect actually. So now the bolts are through. I'm just going to loosely put the washers and the nuts on because we kind of got to square it up. So I'll put them on enough where it'll hold it in place, but enough where we could still move it front to rear, side to side. Not really side to side, but to square it, because if that's forward a little bit too much, then that, you know what I'm talking about. So based on the witness marks that were on the underside from where the old washers were, it appears that I'm a little far forward. So I'm gonna try to just square it up enough where it rolls down, and then we'll see if we get the tailgate closed. All right, so now I got the tailgate closed. This style cover, and you can see how it'll move from side to side. So this style cover, you close the cover, then you close the tailgate. So I want it to go in the clips, and then it can go back this far, it can go forward. So you want it square up against the tailgate. All right, like that. But it's not real tight because just by doing what I did, I kind of pushed it forward a little. So I think what I could do is bring it back just a scooch like that, and then push it in, but not enough to make the tailgate latch, because I wanted to squeeze that weather stripping that's in the back. So here I'm pretty good. There. I want to leave it right there. Say that again. So I'm going to go under and I'm going to tighten down, and then we'll see how the tailgate closes against the weather stripping right here. We want it to be nice and tight against this weather stripping. So I don't want to push it any farther forward by closing the tailgate all the way. The key here is you want to shimmy in and out without hitting this. So now the only other thing that we need to do is make sure that it's square in that it sits in the side rails evenly. So before I worry about the tailgate end, I think I'm close there. I'm gonna release it and look at my gap, and I am right in the channel on this side. and on this side appear to be centered pretty good in the channel, so I'm kind of liking it there. I tightened down one bolt on either side towards me a little bit. I didn't tighten down the forwardmost bolt on either side, which pulls it down against the weather stripping, because I wanted to make sure everything else was good. So if I slowly close, right here I'm not latched yet, and I'm making contact with the weather stripping. If I close it all the way, I make good contact with the weather stripping. It's nice and tight against the weather stripping, so now I can go in and do my final tighten on those bolts. All right, so with everything tightened up, I'm going to do my last function test, which is going to be, let's roll up the cover. Cover rolls, goes in place. Straps are right here. That works, and it should just fall right into place. And it does. And now the tailgate closes right up against it nice. Mushes the weather stripping. All right, I am happy with that. This is, it's a Revolver X2 is the cover that comes if you order it from Ford. We ordered this, when we ordered the Maverick, we ordered it, it was like $1,100 if memory serves me correctly, which is pretty much the same price that you could buy it for, but now you wouldn't be buying the X2 because they've replaced that with an upgraded model, so you actually got the old model if you ordered it with the truck. I probably should not have ordered it with the truck. I should have ordered it separately so that I could have put it on initially myself, because I wound up, you know, spending $40 in new weather stripping and a couple of hours to get this laying the way I really like it to lay, and hopefully be a little more water resistant. It's not waterproof, a little more water resistant, so that when we have stuff in there, we usually put stuff in crates anyway, so in milk crates, so that just to keep it off the floor just a little bit, so if it does get some water in it, it's not getting our stuff soaked. We really haven't had stuff get too wet in here at all. If you pack it smart and you don't put, you know, the stuff that can't get, you know, a couple of drops of water on it in a spot where you know there's going to be a couple of drops of water. But for the most part, it stays fairly dry. I think with our new weather stripping, we'll be a lot drier than we were. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have similar issues, you can let me know in the comments below. If you agree that I shouldn't have sent it back to the dealer, I mean, I could have just sent it back to the dealer and said it's the wrong thing in there, and then argued with them about, no, that's the way it comes from the factory, and they're not going to want to do it. You know what that hassle is going to be like, especially with an aftermarket part that's dealer installed, factory installed, I should say. I'm never going to get a guy from the dealer that's going to put the time and effort to get this in the way I like it. You know, they're never going to make sure that weather stripping back here is getting a good squeeze and even across the back like I wanted it. So that's why I did it myself. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.